Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment he made?
I got some bars to these.
Ron Ryan.
Ryan.
And the other thing, you have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
What grade?
That one I don't know.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Welcome everyone, welcome fellas. You're all welcome to All In, All United. We have a bit of a delayed, broadcasting this evening. Let's see what we hear nonetheless. JP, we just score the cricket by?
We have a big total to chase. We're gonna chase our 190 something. So we now we're gonna start the bats.
Okay. All right. So I know those who tuning in, JP might give you the little updates and things, so I could still tune into All in All United, man. So fellas, we getting into it, and it was tough about yesterday. We always used to be saying, it's the manner in which we lost, so it's the manner in which we draw, or it's the manner in which we get a result. I never thought playing so well and still dropping points when I hurt so much.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm glad we're playing well. I'm glad we're dominating games. But in a match week where all your rivals perform and got results, we needed to do the same and we just couldn't. And that is the dagger in the side as far as I'm concerned. We were not able to capitalize on a good performance, continue with the momentum in terms of results to move up the table as the way in the way we would have liked to, and I think that is the hard pill to swallow as a Man United fan. What we saying, fellas? What we saying?
No, we at a point where we happy. Like you said, we happy. The performance was better. We saw some things that some things continued that we want to continue the attacking movement. The passing in the penalty box. The possession. We saw all that. We just didn't get the finishing that we wanted to see. We did great enough against Southampton. We did very well against Barnsley. We wanted to see some as the competition stepped up, we want to see if it could, transfer to that game, but we didn't see the end product that we wanted to see, and it was kind of a big letdown. We want to see that progression of the team, as far as not just playing well, but winning games, finishing games, finishing moves off, and we still, and it's kind of a even when we played well in spurts, at different times, whether it's last year or this year, we always struggled to finish, and we thought that was behind us, but it's still there. Even though the team playing well for most of the game, we still didn't finish. So, but we move in the right direction, but not. Goals. We are at a point now where we have to get results. The other teams ain't waiting. We behind, and you look at Chelsea play. As you mentioned, you see Chelsea play, they're looking good. So we can't laugh at Chelsea no more. Liverpool, they got back on on their feet. Teams moving. They waiting for us to figure it out. So we gotta step it up.
JP, you think, was it that we went ahead of ourselves after the last two games and now it's back to earth kind of way? You think it's that, or we were you saw we were going? Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we, because the performance actually was a very good performance. It was a dominant performance, and I think everybody watching that game would have been thinking it's a matter of time before we score. But it just never happened. I think every one of us looking at that game would have been feeling like, yeah, the goal coming at some point in time. I think the problem in the end was we abandoned how we were playing and reverted to the last season, just trying to hit the ball over the top. We stopped playing football. So from a very good performance, playing football, controlling the game, we reverted to boom over the top, bring on runners. That's how the runners try and chase it, and they didn't have space for that in that game. So I think that is where we lost the game. Well, it was a draw.
Yeah. I feel you. I think and JP, you touch on it there. Because what I want to ask, and Simeon, probably you could jump in on this. Where after such a excellent performance, where you think the fault in us not getting the win lie? Where that fault is in us not winning that game yesterday?
I mean, I can't. For me, I can't blame as much mess as Ten Hag did in the last part of that game. I can't blame Ten Hag. Like, he put the right team out there to be 3 goals up at halftime. But the fellas, they weren't finishing. Some good strikes, but you need goals. I mean, Henderson was good, but still, all the chances we had. I mean, and like, you look at our team, like, we have such young. Most of our attack is so young. I mean, almost all of them are like really young, and like, you watch all the other teams, their guys are like a year or two older, more seasoned, more mature. I mean, have more game time in them. Like, our attackers are so young, and then you have Rashford. I mean, and he has his mental issues, but he ain't. You look at Diaz from Liverpool, and you watch how the men play. At Salah, you see Haaland, you see the hunger, you see that drive. You see it in how they play. Like, we don't have that. And then you have a guy like Bruno Fernandes, who's the captain, who get a new contract, and he can't. He playing one of the worst games out there. He can't finish. We have an issue with the youth and their development as far as finishing off games and finishing off plays. Garnacho, good last game, couldn't finish off this game. Like, we have an issue of getting our young players to be finishers and to have that mature, mentality in the final third. So I can't blame Ten Hag. We just didn't finish it off. Even though, we just don't have that cutting. We have the players with the skill. We just don't have that. That finishing mentality. Even Xerxes, the man played real good that last game. Man had the team buzzing, but even he and all has issue finishing. So, Rude, that falls on Rude to have to get on fellas, but I can't blame Ten Hag for 70% of the game. But that last, 3% where he just messed the whole thing up, and we literally stopped playing football. I could blame him for that.
I hear what you're saying in terms of the players not taking the chances, but something that JP say just now that kind of more so leading me to point fingers at the manager is that you was sensing that the goal was coming. Yes, them fellas was missing the chance. They was missing, and I'm not gonna make no excuses for that and say he young, he inexperienced. I think those players had the capabilities to score, and they should have scored. Right? Them chances Garnacho get, Bruno, they were supposed to put the ball at the back of the net. Right? Even the lit, you would expect that these things bulge the whole onion bag, right?
Yeah.
But you still sensed watching the game that they go come. And let me tell you what's bothering me is how early the manager make them changes.
Yeah.
And that is that. All right, make your substitution at the 70th minute, the 70th minute, the 75th. make it a wrong day. But it's almost as though you preconceived as to what you wanted on that pitch, and you were just waiting for the right time, or you were just waiting for that 60-minute mark to make your changes, regardless as to what was going on the pitch. And that for me is what failed me. You know, I mean, together with the fact that we couldn't finish with the 91st half. You know, JP?
Yeah, I think too, to touch on something Simeon mentioned, the youth of the front three. And I think this is where I would have started Rashford, because you want somebody more senior in the lineup. And also, we all know Rashford is a confidence player, and Rashford confidence is up right now. I don't want to hear the excuse with rotation, because Garnacho played almost the same amount of time as Rashford in the midweek, right? So some of the chances that fell to Garnacho, you know the way Rashford, I don't know if anybody will disagree with, but when Rashford in form and the way he strikes the ball, and we talk about this in the last game, and we might talk about this otherwise, you could tell when Rashford in form by the way he strikes the ball. And the way Rashford was striking the ball, you know he is in that form where some of those chances that may have fallen to Garnacho, Rashford would have taken those chances. And when he brought him on in the game, he brought him on through the middle. And that didn't make any sense to me, because Crystal Palace is not Barnsley. What worked against Barnsley, where we had space to run in behind for Rashford and Garnacho to link up, because I think that's what he wants to recreate, that link up with Rashford and Garnacho. But Crystal Palace was playing deep, and Xerxes was the man who was actually key to unlocking what was taking place on top there. So I think somebody blame her forward with the manager too, in terms of it could have worked out with the selections that he made, but I would have preferred to see Rashford from the start with the form that he is in, and to have somebody senior in our front three there. And again, with the changes that he made, the fact that, and this is not me comment for Bruno, because I know some people feel that persons out there have a Bruno agenda. Bruno was horrible in this game. Bruno has not been that good for the entire season, but particularly so in this game, I think it was highlighted because of how well the team was playing otherwise. Bruno had a lot of misplaced passes. Bruno shooting was off. Bruno was not in tune with what was going on the pitch with the rest of the team. But yet, Bruno sweat the whole game. And the man who was linking everything is the one who come out first. And that, to me, is what cost us 2 points in that decision. If he'd say, all right, time to make a change, Bruno off, even Rashford on to play off Xerxes, or Hoyland on one time to play on top and Xerxes behind him, I think we could have seen something happening there, and it would have shown a different way of playing too. So that is something that as a team that chasing titles, you have to show your ability to adapt to situations and not just revert to, well, this is what used to work for us before, so we just try it and see if we can get something from it.
Yeah, go ahead, Tina.
No, I think JP make a good point. I mean, first of all, you have Barnsley. I mean, they a first, what do you call that division? They in the first, anyway.
Yeah,
championship, you know, but
I think they're in first division. It's first division, then championship.
Even lower,
then,
So you have that team, you play against them, and they preferred centre back was injured that game. So it was like the third, fourth, fifth, you know, lower there. I mean, because you can't really compare what you could do to Barnsley to what Crystal Palace, who have the Guehi, England International on that. I mean, back there, so he can't put Rashford on there to do what he wants with them. That ain't gonna work. You know, and then second of all, you look at, you know, Xerxes. Like I said this last show, I say, you know, who's gonna come off? I look at Ahmad. People love Ahmad right now. Too popular. I can't take him off. Well, for the most part. Garnacho, but like Garnacho. Then look at Xerxes, not so he ain't English, he ain't that have that kind of support behind him. I always figured he would be one to come off, especially after what he did after what those three guys did against Barnsley. So I know Xerxes had to watch himself. But to see Xerxes play so well, like JP said, and still get pulled. Meanwhile, Bruno ain't do hardly did anything. I mean, Xerxes was making the nice true balls and stuff. What do you think Bruno should be doing? Xerxes was doing that. And you would think that naturally on that left-hand side, if anyone was going to come on, if Rashford's going to replace anybody else, it's going to be Garnacho. That's natural. That's a natural thing, because Garnacho is not as effective on the right side. But still, it takes Xerxes off. You put Rashford up top, and people, the commentator now say this team stopped playing. I mean, they say that the team just stopped. Nothing was moving anymore. And then you pull Ahmad off for I don't know. Then Rasmus came on. I love Rasmus, but Rasmus, he ain't ready yet. That first touch he have, not these kind of games. He ain't ready for these kind of games. But and it's kind of like, if you're gonna commit to a style of play, commit to it. Don't say, okay, well, it didn't work for the first 30 minutes. I'm gonna go to my race car, my NASCAR, side. I'm gonna put the long ball in, and we go try a thing. He man totally changed how he played. I mean, you had all these announcers who don't like United praising us the whole 70 minutes, and then you come in with your coach and just say, you know what, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do this. I mean, it's I was talking to Kareem. I was like, if Ten Hag see what happened here, and if he do it again in the next game, I don't know what to say. I mean, he can't go back to that lineup.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, when you listen to the fan channels and you read a lot of the comments from fans, everybody seems to be saying the same thing. Broccoli Isaac on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. Saying Manchester United forever. All right. King and really pre on the inside. Thanks for joining. The same Ten Hag mess it up with the subs.
Yeah.
So I just want to go back to the substitutions a little bit again, right? And the last time Ten Hag sub Bruno, no, I don't know if there's a kind of psychological thing on the manager earlier. I don't know. But the last time Ten Hag sub Bruno, the team went on to lose. Right? That was against Brighton. And then, the camera pan on Bruno on the bench, because Bruno was clearly, he wasn't happy with getting pulled off, right?
Yeah.
And then again today, and this is, and I commented something a little bit controversial, right? But it's the timing of the substitutions that concerning to me, because I could understand if you're going so early. Now to me, Bruno was having the kind of game that could have game hook at halftime. But you ain't gonna do that, right? But if you were to make that kind of decision, you could not pull, and just pardon my use of words here, right? You could not pull Bruno so early in the 60th minute, right? So Xerxes had to be the sacrificial lamb. Simeon said, right. He knew he's the new guy on the block. He really pulling up no trees in terms of scoring goals. I mean, he fit in a style of play and he making we take a little bit. But in terms of, the undeniable, you can't argue as to him playing. He is doing that for me, at least as far as the manager is concerned. And we know the currency for strikers is goals, right?
Yeah.
So he was the easiest person to pull off. So kudos to Simeon for calling that last week, right? But my thing is, why it's seeming to me that Ten Hag have an idea in his head, and Amar, Eriksen, and Xerxes just there biding time until the manager could play who he wants.
Yeah.
right? Every game before yesterday, fellas, Ten Hag made 5 substitutions. Every single game. We play how much? I would 6 or 7 games already, and Ten Hag used all 5 subs. Yesterday, Ten Hag only used 3. We were chasing a result. You had Anthony, you had Casemiro, you had Mount on the bench, and you only use 3 subs, and you bring on 1 defensive midfielder, a striker, and a winger. This is concerning. You know why? Because he already had he favored back 4 on the field. Dalot, Mazwari, De Ligt, and Martinez. He had Meno already in the field, so it was just to bring on Ugarte. He already had Bruno, so it was just to get Garnacho on the right, Rashford on the left, and to get Hoyle on top.
Yeah.
And that is what Ten Hag wants. That is Ten Hag, in Ten Hag mind, that is his best 11.
Yeah.
So regardless as to, or let me put it like this, regardless as to where the game was, how the game was going, what the game needed, that didn't seem to factor for Ten Hag as far as I'm concerned. He wants to get that team on the field. And that is concerning to me. You understand? Yeah. So fellas, again, what is going on with Lisandro Martinez? What's going on with that nutcase? Because he's starting to get more worried earlier, right? Let's see that 2 foot kind of thing.
That was real nonsensical. I don't know where that come from. From the time I see he jumped, I turn away. I turn away because I was like, I was seeing the red card before he even landed. I turned away from the screen. I was like, this man mad, boy. Where that come from? Like, what was going through? What he thought? And the thing is, he looking surprised. He probably was surprised was a yellow. I feel like what he was surprised about, okay, can't be surprised was a card. I know he in touch a player, but the point is, your intention, if he catch that player at all, the madness. And then he make a mad run out after that, where he get caught somewhere in midfield and they want a break. I think that's when who get a shot off, but somebody get a shot off when he get caught somewhere in the midfield. He had a few minutes of madness that he experienced in that game. I don't know what I was about.
Yeah, and I telling you, even I find the first half he was decent, but in the second half he was taking too long on the ball as well.
Yeah.
You know, he was rarely delaying in possession. He had his second half performance was almost Maguire-esque with how long he was on the ball. I mean, we know you're able to play the game, to play them through passes from the back, but for some reason Martinez was overly slow in trying to bring the ball out to the back. He was delaying the football, slowing it down, allowing Crystal Palace to set back up the low block. And Dread, I don't know. I really don't know. And these are the things that I just look at. And I say, no, there's not me going, be over the top with Martinez. But other players can't get away with that in the team because them fellas and them going to get dropped. Them fellas and them going to feel it. So I am very interested to see, what Ten Hag going to do, especially with Mr. Bruno Fernandes going forward. Now, I mean, my expectation is that Bruno Fernandes will be there, but my hope is that the manager will show, that he's seeing what's going on and he wants what is better for the team first. What is it, what, Simeon?
I just wanted to see how Ten Hag benched him once. Forget, just tell Bruno you play shit, and that's why you get benched and move on. Don't play shit no more. I mean, that's what I want to see from Ten Hag. Bruno he's a good Bruno. As much as I really, I've lost my appetite for Bruno. He's a good player. I mean, I can't deny he's a good player. He has a lot of skills. He can play a lot of ways, but I feel like we don't challenge Bruno to be disciplined enough. I feel like Bruno kind of runs around and does what he wants most of the game. I think Ten Hag has to challenge him to be better, more disciplined, play more, like the last few minutes of that game. I don't know where Bruno was playing because he was on the right side. He was all over the place. Like, I just feel like Ten Hag need to do a better job of coaching, coaching some of these, elder guys, because Bruno, he's the captain of the team. But, like for captains, like, like a Roy Keane, like how Lampard was, I know Gerrard was, these are the guys you want to run through, the spirit they have, kind of resonates through a team. But the spirit Bruno have is a spirit of whining, complaining, falling down, rolling over. Like, what character besides running around all day does Bruno really bring to this team? It's not toughness, definitely not toughness. So I definitely think we need the coach, or we just need more leadership. It has to come from somewhere. But you have a guy like Jason Mount who who just got back, who always injured, but you figure, okay, well, he was supposed to be the sub for Bruno or around there, In a game like this, if you want to move the ball, if you want to play Ten Hag football, you bring on Mount. You don't bring on, Rasmus. You don't bring on, in midfield, you bring on Mount. And if we want to play, Kyrie talk about that's the kind of football that Ten Hag want to play, the long ball and stuff. That's why we have Solskjaer. That was Ollie ball. And if you want Ollie ball, we would have kept Ollie. Ollie ball it worked nice. It was good. It was fast. We can keep possession, but that was a different story. But we don't want to go back to that. And the question, if the next game is going to be, which kind of football are we going to play? Because one football look real promising, and the other one is just going backwards.
I tend to think that the the stubbornness of Ten Hag there, so we will see more of what Ten Hag's ideal is in terms of his starting 11 and the kind of football that he will get from them, because the 11 that Ten Hag wants to play, right, at least I don't think could give you the kind of football that we were seeing from Eriksen, Ahmad, and Xerxes, because they are the more possession type players. Well, you could include Kobe, but he is part of Erik Ten Hag's first team preferred 11. But you wouldn't get that kind of football going with the others, Garnacho, Højlund, Rashford, Bruno. You wouldn't get that. So to me, I would be surprised if I see once everybody fits. I would be very, very surprised if Ten Hag would continue with Ahmad, if he continues with Xerxes and Eriksen, right? Because I know where he's heading with this. I know, and I mean, fair play. You'll have games where they will do well, But for me, we have seen some very encouraging signs in terms of our style of play, in terms of possession with purpose. We saw the nice little movement touches. We've seen those things. We've seen the ball playing nicely on the ground. We open, we're creating spaces, we're creating chances. So I'm interested to see whether the football will change. I think Ansimeni was mentioning that when these players come in, because they don't have the skill sets to play the way we've been seeing. So that's the interesting thing for me, to see how this thing will pan out, because the manager's stubborn, right? Alan Lewis on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying here, it's the typical South American rush of blood. And he's talking about Martinez and that crazy tackle, right? Brain dead thing. So next thing, fellas, we already talked about the negatives in the game. Bruno, right? I don't care. People could say, well, Bruno was the negative in that game yesterday, right? And well, Ten Hag substitutions. But positives. let me talk about some positives that came out as far as we could look at in spite of the result. What are some of the positives that we could identify from yesterday?
Xerxes a player. Xerxes, he could be a key to, like I said, he's only a few games in and he's very sure in that kind of understanding. He just, he didn't play with these fellas, for a few months, but you already see how better the offense, ticking. Onana could make a save here and there like we need. That's a positive. I would take that anytime. I mean, Ahmad still Ahmad. Like, I think even though it wasn't his best game, you still see the skill. You still see the effectiveness. He can get into the box anytime he want to. And he's open. He's open to passing ball. So Ahmad is always going to give you a good performance.
And Simeon, if I could just jump in there, Simeon, and the encouraging thing about Ahmad, and I mean, I remember, when I used to play, it used to be a kind of psychological plus when you hear, the opposition saying, "Hey, mark this one, get 2 men on that one." Up here, I used to say, "What? All right." I calling for that kind of attention. And the thing about it is, I noticed yesterday, every time Ahmad had the ball, it was always 2 or 3 players on Ahmad. So it's showing that Ahmad now catching the attention of managers to the point where they're actually planning for him, So it's just to see how he dealing with that kind of attention now and whether he able to come out on top.
Definitely. Even Ericsson, like I thought Ericsson was done. Ericsson, once you play Ericsson right, in the right position now, I mean, he could put the performance in. I mean, he was helping out, in possession, coming back to the ball, playing the ball. Like he was a big part of, transitioning from, defense to offense. He was coming back up, out, helping in the back line out, getting the ball, So Ericsson I thought was going to be out of here in summer. Ericsson is proven, useful, very useful. And just the presence he has, I mean, I wish he was more vocal, but just his presence alone, as a mature head, he won that from Bruno, but, Ericsson definitely, calms things down and helps in possession. Of course, Dalot, you don't want Dalot playing on the left-hand side for too long, but I mean, man, just do a job. Mazraoui, solid. Our back line ain't give up no goals again. It's not the best opposition, but still, we didn't give up no real goals or no great. I mean, we gave us some chances, but not a whole bunch. So I mean, we are a decent team. I mean, we are a decent team, but it's the Premier League. You gotta score goals. You have to get points. Otherwise you'll be in 11th place like we are right now, 11th. So.
Yeah, JP.
Yeah, positives from the game. I think the way we control the game, for the most part, we were in total control, and the scoreline in the end with us not conceded, I think would have shown that as well. Because we, of course, our team will get some chances, but I think for the most part, we didn't give them the opportunity to really play. We stifled their play for the most part because we were in control, moving the ball nicely for the most part. I mean, well, we're talking up to the point. So when Xerxes was on the field here, right? Because we know what happened after that. So my positive will be up to this point in the game, where we were seeing something you and I talk about, Dreamers, where you look at other teams, how they play on top of the box. And they actually saw us playing on top of the box. And again, I think Xerxes was the facilitator for this. Because of his touches, he Look at the pass that he gave to Bruno, and Bruno hit outside his foot, which should have been a like that kind of thinking and the ability to find them so easily as well. That is something that this team was missing, and I think Zixi bringing something here. And I don't want to see a straight Hoyland coming back into this team now, even though Zixi not scoring. And I know this is what we're going to see, right? But I think looking at how the football has progressed, as you say, when you have Zirkzee, Ericsson, Ahmad, and Kobe, intelligent ball players on the field, you're actually seeing football, attractive football, and that is why we create any chances. So, to me, the puzzle was that control, and I think Maswari, and I don't know if Bayern forget a zero in that figure them code for us or something, because I feel like if we rob them,
Yeah,
because
we
this
we
man,
real get through. We real get through with Maswari, boy.
we really get through, because I cannot understand how we pay this man for this man, and so far no real preseason. He need to settle this that. This man coming from game one, and I cannot think of one
JP, stop.
mistake.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Oh gosh.
Sorry, yeah, I know, yeah, but I cannot.
We
think
had
of
to, yeah, we
one
can't ignore it. We can't do it. We had to talk about that, boy. We had to talk about that. So we
I
had,
can't, because I can't think of one mistake this man making in every single game that he played. He not making any mistakes. Offensively, he is good. On the defense, he is very good. He quick thinking, he passing the ball smooth and nice. He's another intelligent player in the team. So you're seeing that. So I think so far the summer signings looking very good. So far they're looking very good, because see, we've seen what you're doing on top there. Maswari, we've seen what you're doing on the right. We see in Ugarte what he could do so far. The lit so far. It's just really Euro now to come into the team. So I think the direction in terms of the signings and how they impact the team so far is a major positive. It's
Yeah,
now really
yeah.
to see Ten Hag build on that and actually recognize how the football playing with certain players. So I think it's honestly I feel like with our Ugarte in your team, maybe it's time to start to think about Bruno playing deeper. Because you remember Bruno's like 30 now. So you have to start to think about the usefulness of Bruno, and as players get older, sometimes you have to think about playing them. And I think it's a natural progression for Bruno in his game that he could play in a deeper actual number 8 position next to somebody like Ugarte, because we have options in the midfield now where I don't even mind seeing Kobe as a number 10. Or you have Zirkzee who could play in that position behind our Hoyland. You have Ericsson right now in the team who looking good, who could still play in those positions. So maybe seeing what going on with Bruno, the manager, had to start to think, all right, there's my captain, I want him in my team, but where's really the best place to play? And I think that will show our manager who is on the next level, as opposed to somebody who just will take you here and keep you there. You want somebody who will take us that next level to go up further.
I just watch how Ancelotti just use Modric, right? And even how he used to use Toni Kroos before. You understand? You had him because Modric used to play high up the pitch, but now Modric and him fellas playing more with drawn roles because you're trying to preserve them. You're trying to use the intelligence in, the area, the pitch, where you can maintain a certain level of control of the football and the game, dictating that,
Yeah.
And it's something that I think, we ain't calling Bruno old. Yeah, he's 30, but we ain't gonna call him old. But at the same time, we have to see where we could probably look at a win-win scenario where we don't drop you out of the team completely, but at the same time we get somebody who's better suited for the 10 role. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you, JP. I think Bruno could play that role. He could sit the deepest because he could take the ball from the back. You let what's his name? Ugarte play more box to box, and you let Kobe play free up on top and link with we attackers. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something that you could look at, because nowadays You don't always want a bruiser to be clean. Once you play in decent possession football, you don't need no bruiser. Look at how we play against Palace. We didn't need no bruiser.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
understand what I'm saying? Once you have the right players, proper ball retention, and you know to move the ball, you know to make the ball tick, you don't need a man flying with 2 foot. You know what I'm saying? So Bruno playing that kind of, deep line playmaker, kind of 6-ish role, and you have Ugarte running up and down, and you have Kobe there too as well to cover, but he had the kind of intelligence, he had the touch that he have it to play a kind of advanced 8, 10-ish kind of role. I think this team could look so much better, in a midfield going forward, from midfield going forward. So that's a good show. But if the manager going to wanting to do that,
Yeah.
My thing with Xerxes is this earlier. He doing good with the link up, right? But for him, you see the wide players, Ahmad and Garnacho, Rashford and Anthony, them have to be scoring. They have to be scoring, right? And I like he link up. I like what he bring into the team, but still, I don't know if it's just in his natural nature or he's still kind of trying to adapt to the team, and he don't want to make no mistakes. But I still feel like he play within himself. You understand? Because this man over one touch along the game, everything is one touch done. You understand? You can't take the ball and say, well, okay, let me try to progress forward. Let me try to drive it a little bit. Everything for you is one touch and run away. You know what I'm saying? No, it's open spaces. I understand what it's doing and how it's helping, the bigger picture. But I still think Xerxes need to take a little more initiative on the ball in terms of the ball progression sometimes. Putting the ball on the ground and you moving the ball forward, right?
Yeah.
I do agree that Xerxes and Højlund will bang. I really feel 2 of them on the field at the same time will really bang. Because Højlund does run them channels, he go occupy defenders. You understand? And imagine you have Rashford and Ahmad on the links, working, and he just there, keeping it nice and simple with Kobe and probably whoever behind him. And that is something that I would like to see. I will really like to see Højlund and Xerxes play together because I feel we're sitting down on a real goal mine day, and I really like to see what 2 of them could do because I remember it had a play, the last play that Xerxes had before he came off, and Bruno played a ball through to him, and Eriksen was coming on to it, and he just slipped it to Eriksen. But because Eriksen was he's slow, and then 2, he probably wasn't as strong on it. He just tried to at the defender, just nick it and he fall over. But you put Højlund in that situation, Højlund was like a bulldozer.
Yep.
Højlund was winning that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm eager to see Ten Hag give that partnership a fair chance and not no in-game throw 2 of them on and get them at 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Start a proper game with 2 of them and get them games to build a relationship and see how it goes.
That's a desperation move. Like, we desperate and then you can't really get the best out of it.
But one thing I'm excited to see is one part of Ten Hag's coaching that I think has a chance to excel is the press that we use. That has been normally it's been very effective early in the games, but we just never really scored off of it like we should. But like we get healthy to the point now where we have the let back this, we have a high line, and you have Mount back healthy. You have Xerxes, you have Rasmus who runs around all day. You have people to really press. I think we can really turn teams over now with a decent press. So I don't know. With that being said, who's gonna be in midfield? Is Mount gonna come in? Is Mino gonna get a break? Bruno ain't going nowhere. Is Ugarte gonna play? Is Mino gonna be? What's the? Is he gonna be the most deepest midfielder? Because that's not really his thing. Like I think Mino, the skill Mino, when Mino gets aggressive and he starts attacking, you can see the drive, you can see the movement, you can see, he might be one of our most complete, when I say complete players, might be one of our most complete offensive players. You can see the intent when he drives. And I really want to see him get more time in attack. But what's our midfield going to look like? When we have Ugarte, Casemiro's still hanging around, but I don't think he's preferred. Who's going to play midfield? I prefer midfield because I didn't see enough of Ugarte to know exactly how. I mean, I know he might be our best defender in that role, but as far as attacking prowess, I haven't seen enough. Mount, you get that industry, he could do everything. He just ain't. He just ain't a seventh, another seven type, execution. But you get a little bit of everything with Mount. So I want to see who is going to be in midfield for the next few games because we have options now. Ericsson, Eason. That's the question. Eric Ten Hag can't hide behind injuries anymore. That's the excuse for now. Malacia is coming back. At some point, Shaw's going to be back. Maybe, can't hide behind, injuries anymore.
Yeah, his reason for starting Garnacho over Rashford was rotation. That's the words he used, right? He said rotation. So I want to see if rotation will apply to every part of the field. Because if Bruno had a bad game, Bruno should be rotated. Bruno play whole game, so midweek should Bruno be rotated? I think Bruno should be rotated. We should see rotation there as well. Right? In midfield, if you need to rotate again, you could rotate in different positions. So it shouldn't be where it's convenient that you think Garnacho deserved. I think that is more what it was, that he thought Garnacho deserved a start and rotation. He used rotation. And I think this is where the fans will hold him to the words that he used. You said rotation, so let us see rotation across the board, not just when it's convenient to use it. So that's what I'm looking for now.
I mean, to that point, look, I mean, I watched most of the big games this weekend, and like, first game was Chelsea. Chelsea manager have a schedule. Okay, you play this much time, you off, next guy on. And every game you see him kind of you on, you off, and you have the it doesn't matter how what you think, you going off. I mean, there are 1,000,001 players that can do that, but still, you see the method. It ain't, oh, you looking good today, I'm gonna leave you on. No, you off, next guy in. Liverpool, same thing. I don't care if you're Salah, I don't care if you're Diaz. Time's up, rotation. Next guy in. City. I mean, Pep play who you feel like playing and expect the same results. I mean, it don't matter if it's Foden, you're on the bench. You see that kind of rotation, but for us, it's like some guys can't come off, and then when they do come off, it's like you said, Garnacho, started for Rashford. Like, why didn't Garnacho come off? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's the two best left wingers, right? So Garnacho play most of the game. Rashford coming on. Take Garnacho off. Why you gonna mess with Ahmad, who barely played midweek? Why you gonna take him off for?
I don't tell you why. I don't tell you why.
Why you gonna mess? Like, but that Ten Hag has to figure it out. It can't be a pattern.
Just one thing with the rotation too. I think you have to know your players and the impact that they're having on the team too. And yes, Garnacho was good midweek, but let me be honest, it was Barnsley. And I find so far Garnacho's impact has been as a sub coming on in the game. So again, knowing your team and if you want to keep players fresh, tell Rashford you have 60 minutes to go and do what you need to do today. After 60 minutes of putting here, Garnacho coming in because he has having an impact as a sub in games. And half an hour is enough time for Garnacho because that's when men tiring.
Correct.
It's best time for him to come and run at men because you know that's where you're going to get from him.
Correct.
Direct. So to me, you don't know your team too.
Yeah. And something that you mentioned earlier. Now I know it's easy because I mean hindsight, you know. But you was talking about the way Rashford is strike the ball. I watch back the chances Garnacho gets, especially the one where Henderson save. I think is Xerxes playing through and Henderson save it.
Yeah.
And I tell myself, I say the level of confidence and form Rashford was scoring that.
Yeah.
Whether Rashford would go across the goalkeeper, whether he'd go first post, he would. I just figure he might have scored. You know, and these are the kind of things that are saying where Garnacho had to be a little more clinical.
Yeah.
Right?
We've been saying that, yeah.
Because Garnacho striking on the ball, not nowhere compared to how Rashford is. Well, I'm not put like this. Informed, confident Rashford is striking the ball. You know what I'm saying? And we need, and we need them kind of chances to get put away.
Yeah.
Them is the kind of chances you need to score. Right? Now, moving on, I just want to mention one more positive. And I mean, I have to get Jackie Jacket, right? I can't take away from a man if a man do real good. I agree with, when we talk about Maswari, I agree with Billet. But Onana save we yesterday.
Yeah.
You understand? And for all this stick I just give him, it could be remiss of me if I do big up the man when he had a good game. I still yet to see where his passing helping we, you know, the long passes helping we, right?
Yeah.
But Onana was massive. Onana come out big for we. We could have controlled all our football yesterday and come and lost that game out here.
Easy.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that's how football, that's how messed up and cruel football is all here. Because we play all our football and Crystal Palace just come and get this good chance and boom, we chasing.
Yeah.
But Onana. You understand what I'm saying? So kudos to the man, boy. The man saved we, boy. And I mean, he commented after the game was also it showed me, you know, some stuff to he say it's a matter because we are win.
Yeah, I love that.
You know? Yeah. So it's a mentality thing, and I had to tip my hat to him for that, you know. He with me fully earlier. But again, Jackie Jacket, because I mean the man that could have been, we could have lost that game yesterday on phone. I see that double save, that was a big save.
Yeah.
You know? Eric Lewis on the inside, you know, thanks for joining. Saying Bruno gave away the ball 34 times. Make it make sense. Man keeps passing and shooting with the outside of his foot. Why?
Yeah, what is that?
And the thing about it, he had a touch, you know. He had a touch and then he shoot.
Yeah.
And the thing about them goalkeepers and all here, oh God, boy, they must have come and turn superhuman when they're playing with boy.
Always Manuel
Henderson.
God, boy. So fellas, in the here we're gonna do, right? Let me just run through the team quick, and let me just get some player ratings, right? So we go take one each, and we're going through. So I don't talk about Onana already. Again, Onana at 8 and 9, and 9 out of 10 Onana performance gain from yesterday. Yeah, and 9 out of 10 Onana yesterday, right? Because Onana keep we in that game, right?
Yeah.
Simeon Mazwari.
7.5.
All right. Delit, JP.
I will give that a 7.
A 7. Martinez, unusually below average game from Martinez. A 6. I don't know if I'm being
6.5.
generous, boy. A 5.
That's-
A 6. A 6 point. I'll give her 6. I'll give her 6.
Give me 6. Give me 6 here.
Yeah, I'll give her 6. I think of the backline, he was probably the worst.
The worst of the back line here.
Yeah, the worst of the backline. Dallo Simeon.
Dallo, get Dallo at 6.5. I mean, it's not his position. I mean, that ain't his side. So I mean, he do an okay job, but you know, it was still points in the game where you could see him get beat.
But you know, interestingly enough about Dallo, right, is his role kind of, he had to read the game so much because sometimes Ten Hag have him coming in the middle
True.
to help,
Yeah.
and then
I
sometimes you'll see
think
him going wild.
I think you should get higher than that.
Yeah, I feel so.
You know,
Part of us controlling that game was because of Dallo in the midfield.
yeah. No, I mean, you guys are right. I mean, like, I'll give him a 7.2. I mean,
Right.
nah, a 7.2 because I mean, you're right. Now you see it. I mean, remember, I mean, he was most, like you said, mostly in midfield. And you know, he was. I mean, and he's so skillful. Like he could do so many things, you know. And he's a young. I mean, he's a young player that plays a lot older. You know, a lot older than he is. You know, he's still. I forgot how old he is. What is he? Like 24?
I think around so 24. Yeah, about 23, 24. We'll see.
But I'll look it up. But yeah, he's a young player that plays a lot more mature than he is. So yeah.
Only that was 25. That was 25.
But still,
Yeah,
still, I
was
mean,
25.
That's prime. That should be a prime year.
That prime there. All right, before we go to the midfield, let me just get this comment from Darian on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying we could be vexed with Ten Hag, but them fellas wasn't clinical. If we score the goals, we might be praising the coach. Zirkzee wasn't to come off in this game. That's why that was the only thing he did wrong, because it changed the dynamic. It was a great performance for 70 minutes overall, but we got a point that felt like nothing. The result is what's having us being so critical, but it was down on the players more than the coach this game.
I mean, we killing this point about Zirkzee, but yeah, I mean that was a big part of the game. Like, I mean, I know Rashford came on and went to the middle, but even when he went to the left hand side, that was a graveyard shift. Because you know the ball wasn't going. He was mad. He was upset the whole. Yeah, he was upset the whole. You know, because he wasn't getting no ball because he didn't take out the man that made things go. All them chances Garnacho had, he couldn't get because you know it was nobody in the middle conducting things. So that whole Rashford introduction went to waste. You know, so yeah.
All right, so midfield. So JP, Eriksen.
I will give Eriksen 8 on it. Because I think he was a main part of the control of the game. So I will give him an 8.
Yeah. Kobe for me, another quiet performance by Kobe standards. But it was one of those kind of quiet performances for me where he didn't do nothing wrong really.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm saying he didn't do nothing wrong. He was just quietly going about doing his business.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, if the attackers had finished the chances, we might have been talking more about, you know, how well the midfield did. You know, and I think having that kind of ball retention through Kobe and Eriksen with intelligence, it does make we look so purposeful. You know? So I will get Kobe a 7. I give Kobe a 7. You know, Simeon, Bruno. If Phil was here, I give Phil Bruno.
Should I get a negative?
I give Bruno a 3. I give Bruno a 3. I mean, just in everything, in everything, he just passing, finishing, leadership, just poor, man, just poor.
3 way? Wow, 3 real brutal.
Real brutal.
Right?
Yeah,
So you're killing you, man, boy.
Nah. Bruno, just get a new contract. You gotta do better.
Yeah. No doubt. All right, so Garnacho, JP.
I'll give him 6.5 because he should have finished his chances. If he had finished his chances, he'd have got that.
Yeah, I could take Xerxes. A lot of run through Xerxes. I think Xerxes could do with 7.5 or 8, boy. I could say 8, and the reason I could push it to 8 is because when he came off, then you started to notice him how important he was. Yes, he wasn't involved all that much, but when the ball came to him, and even what he did in terms of occupying defenders in the box, and I really wish the players would play to him a little bit more than they do, get him a little more involved. So because we saw the difference when he came off, I will push it from a 7.5 to 8 for Xerxes. Yeah. Simeon, Amara.
7.5. No, 7. Because I have high standards. I think Ahmad needs to be more aggressive. He had like how many shots he had? Like 1, maximum 2. I think sometimes need to just try and take the initiative. I won't be too greedy, but I think with his skill set, he can take more chances. Trying to be a little bit too cute sometimes in the box, but it wasn't his best performance, but still,
the real plan for him today, Simeon, the real plan for Ahmad today.
Yeah.
I thought he did well with the kind of attention that he was getting from Palace.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. But he, you see how easily the man, even with that attention, he get through. But he just tried to, he made some good passes and for could help him out the assists, make him get. But I just feel like, and I think at the end of the game, he was trying to he took like one shot before he come off.
Yeah.
And I think he could have, take a bit more initiative at the end of the game because we weren't. Bedford wasn't finishing their chances. You gave a chance, and then afterwards, you just go try and try and score goal yourself.
Yeah. So wait, it says 7 also.
I'll go 7.
Okay. I think we're on the subs now. First one to Rashford, JP Rashford.
Rashford didn't get a chance to really do anything, so I would just put that at 5 because he didn't get a chance to do anything. The football was just kind of slow and negative at that point when he came on. So you get a pass in 5.
I think we're saying they should apply for all these subs because I don't think any of these subs really impact the game as we thought they would have.
Yeah.
So Hoyland and Ugarte, 5s. Yeah. So Simeon, you get the honor of rating Erik ten Hag.
Give the man credit for the starting 11. The cupboard looking good, but how many subs he had? 3.
Man had 5 subs and he make 3, boy. Man had 5 subs and he only make 3.
That's a 5. 4, 5. Nah, I'll give him a 4. Because like everybody say, how you can make 3? Every sub your team get worse. Every change you make, your team get worse. How you gonna do that?
For 70 minutes of the game, the man team was playing good.
Every single change you make, you went from all England praising United, talking about wow, this is the United that we expect to see, to everybody saying what happened, why is that playing? Like how you can make every change just get progressively worse. Like I don't understand that. So
here now. So you say right, you gave him a 7 and every sub he get wrong, you take away a point
It
out.
went down by 1, yeah.
So a 4? A 4 you say?
yeah, 4.
Okay. Wow.
That might be
Brutal,
generous, but nah.
Yeah. Brutal. The manager can't play with you, boy.
Nah.
All right. So comments, tell me what you think about the ratings. It's just our opinions. So before we wrap it, guys, FC20 on the on Wednesday. All right. That's our first game in the new format of this Europa League. It's kind of weird to be playing Europa League on a Champions League, well, a traditionally Champions League day. So at least we will feel like we play Champions League football. Starting 11s predicted 11 for Wednesday. Starting off JP.
Well, on an goal, I think the back 4 remains the same. I wouldn't change anything with that. Can't see him rotating that too much, to be honest. The only change I could probably see him making to the back 4, he might want to give the rest and bring in Maguire. But I will go with the same back 4. Midfield, I was surprised to see Eriksen start 3, so for him to start 4, I'm really not seeing that one, especially as it is in a short space of time. So I will think Ugarte will get his start in this game. And I still want to see him next to Menu. As much as I want rotation with Menu, I want to see him and Menu play a game together properly. Rashford to start on the left, Ahmad on the right. And keeping Zirkzee on top still. And we know Bruno's starting, but I not starting Bruno. I would say Mount. Although he now come back from an injury, very unlikely that we will see
That big call there.
Yeah. So I know that happening. I know it will be Bruno in that position, but I will say I don't want to see Bruno start in the game. So even if that is the case, what I would actually do is really crazy enough Casemiro and Ugarte with Menu further forward.
I like how that's
That's what I would want to see. Yeah.
Simeon,
I mean that midfield is what I want to see, but I don't think we're gonna get that.
We don't want to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I think what happened last year in was it the Champions League? We was in Champions League. I can't remember. We got sports leagues last year. I can't remember where we were in.
Yeah, it was the Champions League. Yeah.
Yeah, after last year, I think he won't have a nice, strong start. So I think definitely a strong team, even against FC20. I think Ugarte is a good shout. I think Casemiro will probably play. I think Bruno definitely play. I do think Rasmus might start instead of Zirkzee. I want to see it happen, but I think Rasmus, being the preferred striker, might start. Rashford didn't start last game, so Rashford will definitely start on the left. I think he might see Garnacho on the right. I don't know if Ahmad will. I think he might tell Ahmad he will play Premiership football and have Garnacho play on the right. Because, as Karim says, that's his preferred, front line. I think everything kind of else remains the same. I think, like I said, Maguire might probably start instead of De Ligt. Martinez, I'm trying to see if anybody really injured. Yeah, so I think more or less that's going to be the left and right backs pick themselves right now. Yeah, I think he's gonna pick a preferred side. Um, only question is, I said Xerxes might start, but he might put Mount on and try and go a more pressing side, but we'll see. But I think he's really going to try and get a good, strong start because after we ended last year in Europe, you're going to make sure we have a nice start this time. And let's hope if Rasmus starts, he's not as rusty as he looked last time.
I definitely agree that he will want to, strong, start very, very strong or get the best possible start in Europe this season after that horrible showing last season. I think the team, the backline are changing. I think he will go with Ugarte, Meno, and Bruno, and I think I agree with the Rashford and Garnacho, but I feel he will go with Xerxes, right? And the reason why I say that is because Hoyland, he listening to what the manager was saying, he keep talking about building them back up. And remember, Hoyland was out for a while, and the kind of football Hoyland display, he's a kind of mile a minute player. So you had to manage him before you could just game a start. And the good thing about it is we know in the scenario that we were in last season where you didn't have another striker. I could be very, very surprised if Hoyland start. I might be so surprised that I'll be disappointed. Because I don't think Xerxes do anything to not start. And Hoyland now come back and you're rushing him back into the team to start. You understand? So I think Xerxes will start, right, for that reason. And I just think you will see Hoyland come on for Xerxes. And I think he'll start to make substitutions depending on how the game going. He'll start to make substitutions with Spurs in mind. So you might see Casemiro might come on. You might see Monk might come on. He might take off, this one for that one and freshen up the team to make sure players ready for Saturday against. Is Saturday we playing Spurs, right?
I think so, yeah. I think it's actually not a bad game for Anthony to start because against opposition that he should be familiar with too.
Well, that's our next. That's our next.
I think, it's not a bad game for Anthony to actually starting because you have Ahmad Weko or Garnacho. If either those start, we could bring on that side if he's not ready performing, but it's a good game. If we're trying to build his confidence, so I think we need to because he is part of the team. So I think it's really not a bad option. If so, I would change my lineup to include Anthony instead on the right side.
But Kareem, like as far as Manu is concerned, you think he played too much football? Like I don't know, like he always seems like he do a lot. Every single game he plays, it seems like he's just run down by the end of the game. I mean, it might be just that might be just football, but he just seemed, I remember it's funny because last year this time I remember you being the one saying that Kobe playing too much football. You wish you had somebody else that we didn't have to rely so much on Kobe for. But now this year, it just seems like Kobe is always in there. I might think like Kobe. I don't mind him playing a lot of football, but I don't think the kind of football that he's forced to play really plays into what he's good at right now. It seems like he's doing a lot of stuff that he's a footballer still, but all the defensive work, a lot, chasing back. I mean, it's better now with better defense and better possession, but still, Kobe seems to be having to do a lot for his age at this point.
But you see the thing about it, right? For me, Eriksen played 3 games on the bounce, right? And I can't see a midfield without Eriksen and without Kobe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So there's why not because Kobe brain, Eriksen brain. And if we take 2 of them out at our team,
We
I
lose
feel
a
we
real
don't.
big forward.
Yeah, we gonna
What
lose real
what
ring
if
power.
we
Yeah.
what if we bring on play Mount and Bruno?
Mount not gonna play. Right?
No.
Mount will get some minutes in the game, but he not gonna play. He not gonna start, sorry. Yeah. I just watching scenarios and the fact that them fellas now come back from lengthy injury layoffs. Ten Hag not desperate to start them. So I'd expect him to start them. If he starts, well, then that's something different. You know?
Okay, good point.
Yeah. So, well, guys, I mean, that brings us to the end of the pod. You know, for those who were in the comments, you know, those who would have shared, you know, we know, hey, JP, give you an update on the cricket day. What's going on?
127 for 2 in the 13th over, so we're not looking too bad because Puran and Tim David are the crease right now, so we could still handle it.
Where's the required run rate?
It's at 9.35.
Are we making that?
Yeah, we're making that. Yeah,
Okay.
The men are the crease, and then we have to come in still. You need like at least two big overs, and that's rather run rate coming from.
Right. Nice. So things looking good for TKR, man. Yeah. Eric saying here on a side note, looking forward to seeing Martial and Levi link up in the medical room. No, but no, Eric, no. Here now, if I am that manager, I worried about because Levi, Levi injured, right? Oh, no, but this could be a nice link up to look at, Yeah. So happy for my boy Tony.
Marcel and race kind. It's like them those man injury prone. We do not race kind.
Hey, what's wrong? These kind of things people go through just to unveil a player. Like, damn it. Anyway, so far it was nice. It was nice. We will be here again on Wednesday. Hopefully, we continue in terms of the performance, but just we improve and we finishing and being clinical, and Martinez go and talk to some kind of psychiatrist to keep himself in check. You understand? Because them so go make you lose here,
Yeah.
So JP and Simeon, it was nice, fellas. So have a good one, guys, and we'll see you all on the next one. Good night.